Now, I don't know whether you've noticed this as well, but I think with all the buzz that's happening in the electric car world right now, inevitably, there have been certain models that just unfortunately get forgotten about, not for lack of appreciation. We review them, of course, but then they just sort of fade from memory, like the Genesis GV70, for example. We did actually review it 3 years ago, but I cannot remember seeing another one on the road, not even a badge sitting in a Tesco car park. You? But it's back. A refreshed, improved version, and presumably hoping to be remembered this time for all the right reasons. Well, before we do get started, let us know what your initial impressions are, and do like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Because they are still a rarity, I better recap the Genesis story. The genesis of Genesis, if you like. So they arrived in the UK in 2022 as the luxury arm of Hyundai/Kia. It's Hyundai, by the way. Ah yes, sorry. Which is a good thing, as the mainstream electric cars from both of those companies are really impressive. That means posh versions should be even better. It sounds great on paper too, and has all the technology. 800-volt system? Check. Screens bigger than the telly in my living room? Check. Fingerprint unlocking? Check. AI system to read the road and change the suspension setting? Oh yes. Check. It's all sounding like something from the future. Okay, so the outside doesn't look quite so futuristic, does it? But actually, in this case, I think that's a good thing. It's a well thought through, nicely designed car, perhaps a bit generic if you put it up against radical designs like the BMW iX, Pulsar 3 or 4, and the Mercedes EQE SUV. But overall, it is decent, isn't it? Now, let me point out some of the new bits as part of this 2025 redesign. So up front, you get this. The G-Matrix crest grille, which is fake, but what it does do is it hides the charge flap. Take a closer look. It's very smart because you can't even see it, but it then does mean that your charge flap's at the front, which I think is a bit of a Marmite thing. Useful in some situations, some people love it, some people dislike it. Now, the other special thing about this flap is that it's heated, which means in winter it will not get frozen shut, which seems maybe a little unnecessary, but also, I mean, it's happened to me once, and when it did happen, it was very annoying. So in that situation, it's going to be very useful to have. You will appreciate your heated flap. Right, what else can we talk you through? The signature stacked pairs of headlights, which now have something called micro lens array technology. What it means is that the LEDs are more powerful, they're more accurate at night, which is very helpful on a day like today, because it's actually one of the longest days of the year, so it's not going to be dark anytime soon, so I will not be able to test that out. Let's talk about the wheels, because we can appreciate these 20-inch wheels, which come on the luxury model only as standard. 19 inches as standard on the other two, which is actually quite small for a car of this kind of stature these days. I mean, if you think about it, you get 18 inches on a Renault 5 and a Micra. But anyway, I do think the 20 inches look good, and white brake calipers on the luxury model, which, well, they look nice now, but I haven't driven very far. They're not going to be white for very long, are they? Now, round to the back, it hasn't changed a huge amount. Those are the keen eye. You might have spotted the chrome along the bottom. That is new. The other thing that has changed is that the indicators have moved from down here to into the lamp cluster, which is quite nice. I think overall, it is relatively simple, unlike the interior. Follow me. Now, this is what I would call the polar opposite of Tesla minimalism, because I am drawn to it like a magpie. There are so many buttons, there is so much bling, there is a lot going on here, and I really like it. I love a button or two. Obviously, you've got this massive 27-inch screen in front of you. Proportionally, it's quite narrow, which does feel a little bit strange. The benefit of that, which is what I like, is that it doesn't interfere with your view of the road. I find it really annoying when some of the screens can come up higher and interfere in your view of the road. But I would say they could probably have added like another inch and it wouldn't have been an issue. So anyway, it is brilliant though, and using it is seamless. It's got a really nice feel to it. Now you can either use the dial down here, which I think is actually better when you're driving, or if you're stationary or whenever it suits you, you can use the touchscreen, which is nice. So you've got two options there. Now the interior has had the biggest overhaul, I think, in this 2025 car. And in the presentation that we had before we test drove the cars, they said to us, Son Nim. Now in Korean, that basically means cherished guest. And that theory has basically been the foundations of the redesign of this car. And they've used the last 4 years since launching the first one to make sure that Son Nim, being a cherished guest, is at the core of this model. And once you're sitting in the driver's seat, I do feel very much like a cherished guest. Now you can see here, entertainment. You can stream whatever you want. So if you've got YouTube or Disney Plus it comes with, and you can use, as long as your car is in park, you can stream as much data as you want for 3 years. So now you have a genuine reason to not go in the house and sit in your car and just watch till your heart's content. Think of the data you're saving. So that's a nice little add-on. Okay, the other indication that Genesis has made you feel like a cherished guest is their mood curator with 4 different options: vitality, delight, care and comfort. They basically change the music, the ambient lighting and the scent of the car. I'm going to go for a bit of self-care, a bit of care, for a calming atmosphere with soft music, lighting, oh, and massage. Oh, right. Okay guys, we might just need a little time out. Oh yeah, the massage chair's going. Oh, very zen. Okay. Well, anyway, we haven't got time for that, so lovely. Now, as you've probably guessed, this car is packed full of so much technology, so much so you can say bye-bye to your key. So for keyless entry, you can use the key in your wallet on your phone. And then to start the key, you just need your finger. Very cool. It's fingerprint technology to get the car started. So with your phone and your finger, you are ready to go. Bye-bye key. And finally, I have to point out something that I suspect was designed in COVID. The UVC lamp. So you have to pay 260 quid for the Serenity pack. And basically in here, you have a UVC light which will de-germ anything that is small enough to fit in there, including your phone. So in it goes. As for space, it is big enough in the back, but the centre seat is raised, so only good for shorter journeys. But the boot is big at 503 litres, and it's a really useful space. This video is brought to you with Andersen EV, the UK's most awarded home charge point brand of 2024, offering over 200 colour and finish options, a market-leading 7-year warranty, and a unique hidden tethered cable. So the first thing you notice when you jump in this car is just how comfortable it is. Like, the seat's so comfortable, the driving position, the smoothness on the road. It just absorbs all of the lumps and bumps. It just handles so beautifully. This is a car where I feel like I should be a chauffeur. Someone needs to be in the back enjoying this experience as well. That kind of reflects the drive that we had in the original GV70. Now, as well as comfort, this has also been a car which is surprisingly fast. It has over 480 brake horsepower, so it gets from 0 to 62 in a whopping 4.4 seconds, which is actually a bit slower than it was before, but only by 0.2 of a second. So you are not going to notice unless you have a stopwatch in your hand, which would just be weird. Now, the motors are unchanged, but you get a bigger battery. It's moved up to an 84 kilowatt hour battery from 77 before. But that's actually still smaller than most rivals. So it means the range of 298 miles looks a little bit stingy compared to things like the Porsche Macan or the Polestar 3, which would do close to 400 miles.
But as we have said throughout this video, this car is packed full of tech. So it comes with 800 volt charging, which means it goes from 10 to 80% in just 19 minutes. So maybe range isn't such a priority when you know how fast you can charge when you stop. Now, where this really does score as well is on refinement. The original majored on the ride quality, on the quietness, the ambience. And this new version with all the extra tech means all of that is enhanced even more. You've also got cameras checking the road surface, the GPS, which then adjusts the suspension settings to give a really perfect combination of comfort and handling. They've thought about everything. They've put the driver first. Now, there is one feature that is crying out to me right now, and it's a little button down here on my steering wheel saying boost. It wants me to press it. So I'm going to. What this boost button is about to do is for 10 seconds, it will increase the PS from 440, maximum of 440, to the maximum of 490. Ready, steady, boost. Oh, look at that. And everything turns red on your display in front of you. So that will give you that little extra boost of energy at the times that you need it. Quite good for overtaking. Also just quite good to have a bit of fun and enjoy the drive. The other thing you can do to make sure that you maximise your enjoyment in this car is the regen paddles double up as a virtual gear selector. So you can effectively drive it as if you have gears, which I think is quite cool. And if you do that, you can also then put in a fake sound of a 6-cylinder engine noise. So if you are missing those days when you were driving your internal combustion engine car, then you now have the opportunity to relive that moment.
Now, there's brake regen on offer from these paddles behind the wheel, and there's something called smart regen, which takes into account traffic, road conditions, and even what corners are coming up, and it will adjust the braking to suit. Very smart indeed. Right, let's talk charging. The battery preconditioning now has manual activation too, so you don't have to program charge points into the navigation to set it working, which is actually really useful. There's vehicle to load too, but the 11 AC kilowatt charging is a bit behind the pace these days and will limit you if you want to charge at work on some public chargers. Now, if you do want to know even more juicy details about this car, and in fact any other electric car on the road, do head to electrifying.com. Right, driving is complete, which means we need to talk pricing and conclusion. So the GV70 entry level, called the Pure, comes in at £65,915. The next level up is a Dynamic, which comes in at £70,715. And then this one, this is the luxury model at £74,915. Now, all of them come with some really quite standout tech. Things like the fingerprint start button. Very cool indeed. Other unique selling points, they come with the 5-year care plan called We Will Come to You. And they do literally come to you, sort out any problems you have with your car, which is quite nice. And then you have the virtual personal assistant on hand. So it's kind of back to how we started this review. They have put the driver experience at the core of this. It's not just while you're driving, it is the whole experience of ownership. But is that enough when you come up against really stiff competition? Now, if perhaps you're looking for something a little bit left field, take a look at the Polestar 3. Then you've also got things like the Audi Q6, the Porsche Macan, all of which I think are worth a test drive if you're looking at this mid-range SUV. The Genesis does stand up to the competition that I just mentioned, but I do think it might take a little bit of time before it is no longer a rare sight on our roads.